People should have to apply for a licence to have kids.
I don't get why people hate James Corden.
The works of Shakespeare is shit, and anyone who disagrees is a pretentious twat. Couples who sleep hugging each other are weird. Being a doctor, surgeon, or lawyer is no better for your kids than if you're doing OnlyFans. I've done my research, Baz. I've subscribed to shitloads.
50 hours just today.
By the way, shitloads was an indication of how many. That's not the name of the OnlyFans I've subscribed to, just to be clear. Please, for legal reasons, don't put your cat in the tumble dryer. Yeah. Thank you very much. Not even if it's wet. Hello, and welcome to the Mildly Controversial podcast. This week's just me and Baz, and we're going back to just our mildly controversial opinions.
Back to our roots.
So no themes, no guests. Speaking of guests, if you haven't heard yet, the two-parter with Mr. Ewan fucking Thomas, the actual Ewing fucking... That's not his middle name, by the way. His middle name's Gwyn. But yeah, Ewan Thomas, actual Ewan Thomas, the Olympian and celebrity and all that. Yeah, if you haven't heard that one, go and listen. In fact, stop listening to this one because this one's not going to be as good.
Yeah.
Go back to that one, listen to that, and then come back to this because it's good enough to listen to. It's just not as good as that one.
Yeah.
It might be. I don't know. I'm reading into the future. To be honest, this is in the future because in between now, where me and you are, and now where everybody who's listening is,
yes, it's bizarre.
I've been on holiday. So this is going to be interesting when I'm potentially join in next week, and don't forget to watch us on YouTube or Facebook to figure out where my suntans come from.
I tell you what I want to do, because I was thinking about this today, because I was listening to part of this podcast in the car when I was driving. I reckon most people listen to this when they're in the car, the majority of people. So I reckon what we should do is that every time we do a podcast, we have to put at least a guest in each of a road that one of our listeners is listening this into. I mean, obviously, I don't know any American roads, so it'd be Route 66, but we'd have to do a British.
The only one I know as well, Buzz.
Yeah. We'd have to, if we want to do, let's do a guess. I think someone's listening to this right now on the M69.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the M60.
There you go.
Which is the motorway that goes around Manchester.
There you go.
So that's what I'm
So if anyone is listening and at this precise moment and they're on the M69 or the M60, send us a message and say we got it right. Who won?
Let us know. Comment below if you can comment below. If you can't, send us an email to mildlypodcast@gmail.com. I've just had an idea as well. We don't do advertising and we don't do sponsorship. We've only ever had one sponsor show. If you want to sponsor our show, it doesn't matter like if it's your local business, if you want to sponsor it because it's your mate's birthday, whatever. Just send us an email and we'll have a chat.
Yes.
And I tell you what, we'll be way cheaper than we will be in the future. So now's the time to get in because they stay there forever. Anyway, mildlypodcast@gmail.com for sponsorship opportunities.
Yes, it could read like this: as sponsored by Gareth Welding in Rotherham.
Yes,
there you go.
Or someone with a stupid nickname like, this episode is brought to you by Dickhead Baz.
Yes.
I don't know why I came up with Baz. I do apologise, Baz.
Any number of ones.
Oh, wonder what Freud would make of that, by the
way. Fatty Phil from Manchester.
Yeah. There you go. Good. Yeah. Do apologise to any Phils from Manchester that are listening. He doesn't mean you.
Especially if
he might mean one of you. He might mean one of you. I don't know. I'm just assuming he didn't. Anyway, how are you doing, Baz? It's a bit cold now, isn't it? All of a sudden, it's gone cold.
We've broken the seal. We've put the heating on.
We had the fire. We've got two real fires.
Yeah.
So we put that on. You're in a hoodie. I'm wearing which I didn't realise that it's all very orange, isn't it?
Yes,
this whole thing. It's like the lighting, the wall, and
your face.
I'm gonna paint a picture with words for the people who are listening. My outfit isn't. I just wanted to put a kind of a turtleneck underneath my shacket to keep me warm, but it strikes me that I look like a villain off the Sweeney.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, with the so I'm wearing a corduroy jacket with a sheepskin collar and a autumn brown turtleneck.
Yeah.
There you go.
Had it been a proper sheepskin coat, you would have definitely been either a football manager from the 70s or a villain.
Yeah. There's a little bit of John Motson about it as well, for those of the people that are in the UK and know who he is. Anyway, Baz.
Are we doing a full catch-up?
Yeah, go on then.
All right, so it's not an amazing story, but as some people know, I've got a well in my house. And the way that the well is operated is the water comes in from the water table. So this week we've had a lot of rain, and the well was filling at a very rapid rate. And I installed a new pump in it last week, and it took me a long time to do it because. Yeah, so this gets onto that thing of you probably do it as well. You're going through a job and you think, I'll make a decision and then I'll do that. And the moment you've done it, you go, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done that. So I cut the end of this pipe off because I wanted to shorten it and realised that the fitting I had off my pump to go into it didn't fit it. So I had to go through a whole load of stuff, ordering bits and pieces, and kind of made a bit of a Heath Robinson attachment to it. Well, I only did that the day before the rain came, and I just kept thinking to myself, had I've not done, had I've not managed to get it, our house would have got flooded because it came up at such a rate. You have to put the pump on to
you have to put a thing on to very good. I've no idea about wells, Baz.
Yeah.
I know you live in an old house, but
yeah.
I've always lived in houses that just have taps.
Yes. Well, no. Not
that you have to wind a handle with a rope and a bucket on it to go down
honestly,
and then back up to have a bath.
Had it have not worked, we would have had to take the glass lid off it and just kept emptying it with buckets out into the garden. That's how bad it would have got.
Oh, that would have made great social media content, Baz.
But unfortunately, I haven't had to do it because
you've missed a trick there.
I've got my pump working now and it's beautiful. Anyway,
that's
my exciting story for the week.
Very good. That's very so. Well, one thing I have to start with is I have to start with a disclaimer. I often say that I'm at least 42% more entertaining when I've had a drink, and I'm not drinking tonight, Baz.
Are you not?
And on that bombshell... No, it's too early for that, isn't it? We can't finish.
No, it's as good as it's going to get to you.
Yeah, we're only 8 minutes in. We can't finish there. No, I'm not drinking tonight because, as I was chatting to you before we came on air, I've been back in Bury, a town just north of Manchester, my hometown. I've been back there. It was my nephew's 18th birthday, so I was catching up with all the family and had 2 really boozy days, and I only got back yesterday, so I've decided to lay off the beer for a bit. And when I say a bit, as I've already mentioned, I'm going on holiday on Monday, so it's not that long. But here's something that we can we're going to start with is...
Oh, are you joking me?
Pint of Guinness, Baz.
So 0 alcohol Guinness.
0.0. I've never tasted 0 alcohol Guinness, Baz. And I'm going to do that right now, live on the internet. It's not really live. It's going out in about 3 weeks.
Well, it's live in front of me, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Live in front of you, and everyone's going to join in a few weeks in my first ever tasting of... I've heard by people who drink Guinness, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah.
So I'm about to go in, Baz. Here we go.
Add glugging sounds to that if you like. So.
Baz, that is not bad at all.
So one of our earliest podcasts, which isn't probably available now, is I once...
Oh, they're all available.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the very first one.
It's still available.
Okay,
it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and see that one, that's on our YouTube. You have to go to my Dad Dancer YouTube channel.
Yeah, okay. I always remember, I'm not a particular fan of the taste of, any kind of bitter or beer.
Yeah.
Just because I remember being as a kid, it wasn't. I was never thinking, this is what people like making a big deal about. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So the idea of me, of 0 alcohol beer has always been like, Yeah, the idea of drinking alcohol is to get you pissed. There's no other reason for it. I wouldn't enjoy it. So I kind of think, and I got used to the taste of Guinness, but I'm very picky about it. My brain tells me it's better in Ireland, even though apparently it's it travels better now, doesn't it?
Well, I'm in Ireland, so it tastes nice.
Yes, I know, but I don't know whether it's psychological that I think it tases better there or that it's possible. But I wouldn't drink it here, and my friends love it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But you know what? There's not because we've mentioned one of your mildly controversial opinions a while back was there's no point in non-alcoholic drinks or non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would suggest that the difference between a good pint of lager and the best non-alcoholic lager I've ever had is much, much bigger than between the best Guinness out of a can I've ever had and the non-alcoholic version. I think I think it's actually. I mean. It's pretty close and it's quite tasty.
Yeah.
I always think when you have non-alcoholic lager, you always feel like there's a little bit of a concession. You just think, well, it doesn't taste great, but it wasn't Gunnu, was it? But that actually tastes really good.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, because I'm a rum drinker and everything that I do, I just drown it in Coca-Cola. That I could just drink Coca-Cola when I'm out, and it would look like I was drinking. So and I think we also concluded at the time it wasn't supported by the podcast, and and I'm in the minority, so I've always said that.
Right. I don't know. I think I didn't support there's no point in non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
But that was just I was just being picky on your terminology there.
It's
like, well, water's important, Baz.
Yes, I wouldn't drink that on a night out either. So.
Yeah, I think I may have been facetious deliberately there. But no, that's actually quite nice. And like I say, it's not a long term thing, but I can understand why some people, if I was going to go out and I knew that I was only going out for a few, instead of having like maybe one. And then going on soft drinks, or two and going, oh shit, that's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? And then going on soft drinks for another two.
Yeah,
I would probably have 3 or 4 pints of Guinness Zero.
I wonder if there's a kind of what's the term, like psychological point where like. What do they call it when you get you get high on...
Psychosomatic.
Yeah. I wonder if there'd be a part of that of like, if you said to somebody, I'm having 5 drinks and 3 of them have got to be non-alcoholic, but don't tell me which ones. Yeah, that'd probably be better for you. You'd be like, oh, they're all pissing, they're all alcoholic.
Or you just give someone Guinness Zero all night.
Yeah.
About 8 or 9 pints and see if they get pissed anyway.
Yeah, see, that'd be
with
interesting.
The old placebo on
that.
Yeah. Anyway, so I thought I'd better explain that. But yeah, it's surprisingly good. I like that.
Well, look, so I'm getting back to the subject of sponsorship. If anyone from the Arthur Guinness is listening,
Diageo.
Who's it?
It's owned by the company's called Diageo.
Oh well.
A mate of mine works for him in the States.
Okay.
I should contact him because we're talking about Guinness and half our listeners are in the States.
Yeah. So, if anyone from the Guinness company is listening, we will happily, and I will happily talk about Guinness every 10 minutes on the programme. So. Absolutely.
That's a cast iron guarantee.
For 60, 70 grand.
Well, do you know what? We can call it the Guinness Book of Mildly Controversial Opinions. That's what we can call it. If they're willing to stump up the cash, or if we're honest, just beer.
Yeah, that'll do.
But not an alcoholic. If you, I want. This is quite nice, this non-alcoholic one, but I don't accept this as currency.
Well, look, I'd happily take money and then sit there and drink that as well. So,
absolutely, Baz. Both correct answer. Right.
Yeah, I forgot what we're here for.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was nice. That was a nice little catch up and an introduction to. Our appearance. Oh, well, I'll describe your appearance, Baz, as well. I liked that painting a picture with words.
Yeah.
So Baz is wearing a black hoodie with, it looks like a stylized skull on the front.
It's the Punisher from Marvel.
The Punisher from Marvel. Yes. See how I didn't have a fucking clue what that was.
I know you didn't know.
So yeah, let's right. I'll cut that out and I'll sound knowledgeable. Are you ready? So Baz is wearing a black... I won't cut it out. Baz is wearing a black hoodie with a white Punisher from Marvel on the front. Yeah. I just realised that Punisher sounds like... If you don't know Marvel comics, it sounds like Baz has got an image of something you buy from Love Honey on the front of his shirt, but he hasn't. Anyway.
I love how you just said Love Honey, and I'm going, I don't know what Love Honey is. I'm assuming it's some sort of
you will when there's
seedy thing, is it?
You will when they sponsor us, Baz.
Both be sat here in straps, will we?
Now there's an idea. That would definitely have to go behind a paywall, Baz.
Yeah, the mildly controversial bondage episode.
Yes. So Baz, I would say. So I've described his hoodie and his hat. I would say the easiest way to describe that is dark grey, almost black, or is it black?
It's a faded one, but it is black. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost black, and if I say Peaky Blinders, you know where he's gone with it. So Baz is a combination of a 1920s gangster and a teenager who's into comics. There we go. We've painted more pictures with. Do you know what? Pictures with words? I think that could work, Baz. That could be a regular feature.
I love that because like you're describing me, and that doesn't sound the eloquent best dressed person that I get called all the time. Basically, I was very busy tonight doing some bits and pieces around the house, and I was going to get in a shirt. And I thought it's cold. I'm going to keep your hoodie on and feel comfortable.
There you go. So yeah, I tell you what. Let us know. Let us know in the comments section or wherever you are able to communicate with us. Who looks more sartorially magnificent tonight?
Oh, you smashed it, Mr. 1970s.
Well, is that your vote then?
It is, yeah, definitely. You've made way more effort. In fairness, like in the warm months, we both usually sat here in floral shirts. So we're getting into our winter garb now, aren't we?
Well, because it's cold, Baz. Look, there we go. Look, I've got my pyjama bottoms on as usual. So yeah, because it's so cold, I'm not naked from the waist down like usual.
I went out on Saturday in a pair of trousers that were very similar to your pyjamas. So.
Well, there you go. Right. Okay. So let's go back to. We've not done our personal, mildly controversial opinions for a bit. Right. We've usually either we're talking on a theme or we have got a guest and we're asking their opinion. So it's given us plenty of time to come up with some more because we were powering through 5 each per week. Yes. It was like, in the end, it was just like, paper clips are rubbish. It was, but we've had a bit of time off, so.
I'd love to say
I've just built it. I've just built it up way too big.
I was going to say I'd love to say backed by popular demand, but no one's asked for this. So.
It was absolutely popular demand. Barry asked us.
Yes, there he is up there.
Okay, so
you kick off first. Go on.
I'll go first, Baz. Yeah. Time zones have become irrelevant, and the whole world should have one time zone.
Ooh. Well, as usual, explain a bit more then.
Yeah. So that's the headline. But there is actually a bit of... I was thinking about this the other day, and there is actually a case for it. Because obviously, as we are now... It was all set up when countries didn't really communicate with each other. So the fact they're on different time zones and their clocks are something different didn't really matter. Yeah? But you've got this really complicated situation now where it's all split into loads of little bits. You've got things like... I was watching the cricket in India the other day, and it was like 12 o'clock here and it was at 5:30 there. And some of theirs go down like 40 minutes or 30, whatever. There's just loads of weird ones.
Yeah.
And then you've got some countries, like Russia's got like 11, I think.
Yeah, it's a big country.
China's got 9, something like that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we don't need it anymore. And here's my thing, right? It's that at the moment, in business, if you're in an office in Manchester and you think, right, I need to speak to somebody in Sydney. Ooh, what time is it in Sydney?
Yeah.
So you work out what time it is in Sydney. And then you work out, is their office open at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah? If everybody had the same time, all you would need to think is the Sydney office open at this time?
Yeah.
It cuts out one of the calculations.
Although, wouldn't it be slightly confusing if, like, so obviously we would have GMT because that's when the fucking thing was invented. So we
because we invented time,
we get the
Baz.
profit, right? So we are
The British invented time. Everybody knows that.
So midday in the world is in Greenwich at that precise
is.
moment. So presumably in Greenwich midday is so it's midnight in Australia because it's obviously right around the other side of the earth, isn't it? So,
but that's only if you stick with the current system. I'm going to come up with something.
Right.
So if you keep the current time system and you just say we all have the same time zones, the only thing you have to get your head around is you just reframe it. So in Australia, what they currently call 10 a.m. becomes 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Or what they currently call 7 a.m. becomes midnight. Or whatever it is. You just have to kind of reframe your mind.
Yeah.
And if you did it on the 24-hour clock, that's easier to do. So if you take it one step further, Baz, this is where we get a bit confusing. You decimalize time.
Okay.
So, obviously, a year is a finite amount. A year is a thing that you can't mess about with.
Yeah.
Because it's based on planets and shit, right? The length of a day and the length of a year are fixed.
Yeah.
Right? We create the month things, and there's lunar months, there's like the Gregorian calendar and stuff like that, but that's all kind of made up. So, so that's where I was going with it. The length of a year is fixed based on massive spinning circular objects. And a day.
Or a flat disc, as we discovered it was.
Yes. And a day is based on the same. But and Dave Gorman did a little bit on this, so I'm not stealing this bit. This wasn't in my bit, but I'm just saying that he did a bit on the fact if you take a year, we split a year into 12 sections, and the sections aren't the same. Yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas if there's 52 weeks in a year, if you call a month 4 weeks, there's 13 of them.
Yeah.
They're all 4 weeks. So there's 13 4-week periods. So he did this thing about calling them different names and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying, right, and I've done some prep here, Baz.
Because there's a lot of numbers being thrown about here.
Exactly, yeah. So 365 days in a year remains the same because it has to.
Yeah.
Because there are, or 366, whatever. Yeah. But then you could do 13 4-week months, like I said, but you can decimalize it from there. We've just decided that there are 24 hours in a day. We don't have to. We can have 10.
Yeah, okay.
So we have 10 hours in a day.
Is each hour longer then? Yeah.
Yeah. So each hour is going to be longer. You have 100 minutes in an hour and 100 seconds in a minute. So an hour would be 2.4 of our current hours.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah? So your 8-hour work day becomes 3.5.
Yeah.
Roughly. Yeah? Currently, there are 1,440 minutes in a day. That would become 1,000. And a minute, so that means a minute is 1.4 times the length it is now.
Yeah.
And there are currently 86,400 seconds in a day. That becomes 100,000. So a second is 14% shorter than it is now.
Okay.
But it would all make sense because it's 100, 110.
Yeah.
I know we've lost the Americans because they're still not, they haven't decimalized anything yet.
Yes.
So we've lost them, but bear with me. But I think it makes a lot of sense. So let's say a second is 14% shorter. So for the sake of the Americans and to bring them up with us, right? Instead of a second being 1 Mississippi, it becomes 1 Michigan.
Okay.
There you go.
So hang on. So seconds are longer, but are shorter. But minutes
Seconds
are
are
longer.
shorter, minutes are longer.
Yeah. How much more?
A minute is 1.4 times the length it is now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it just strikes me that this is just making it much more difficult for those people that aren't great lovers.
Well, it does. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Just fancy a quickie. I don't not that quick. Fucking
You're going to go 40% longer now just to do a minute. That is the point. But if you time it in seconds,
yes,
you're laughing.
Better. Which I have to.
Yeah, just say I used to tell you that 4 minutes was a long time. Yeah.
It's not.
Now it's whatever seconds are in this new minute system that I've got. I do have some positives. So the benefits of this, Baz, is there's no international dateline anymore.
Oh, is it not?
No, because everyone's on the same time.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, sorry. In your world, I thought you just got rid of the actual one just then.
yeah. I'm not that powerful, Baz.
Yes, I thouot someone else had got rid of it, and I just didn't know about it. I was like, what?
It's not up to me. But no, but there's no international date line. So you know this current thing of where you can literally get in a boat and go 10 minutes in one direction and go to yesterday.
Yes, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You don't have to anymore because we've all got the same time. The second one is that massive countries have got loads of like I say, I think Russia's got 11 and China's got 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
They just need to know what time is our Shanghai office open.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't need to know what time is it where they are because it's the same.
Well, yeah, before you sort of go any further, so all those time zones in one country, there must be a point, like you just said, where you could take one stride and you've gone back an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you've gone into a different time zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it, like say, the international date line. And because that's not... Firstly, the international date line's not straight.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a massive wave in it. But there are some places that are GMT plus 13.
Yeah.
So there are some places that are over a day ahead of us
Yeah.
because of this magic clock that we've decided on.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. It's all unnecessary.
Well, it's funny though, when you said, we don't have the international date line, I thought, well, someone's got rid of that and I didn't know about it. And I was like, no, in my fictitious world, it's gone.
That would be quite a big thing to get rid of, because if you get rid of it, the only way you can get rid of the international date line is to go with my suggestion that the whole world has one time.
Well, they are sorted. Right, okay, look, so weirdly, my first one is based on numbers and the world as well, but it's nowhere near as complicated as yours.
Excellent. I think our listeners need a little bit of a rest after that one.
So it's basically a similar thing, but it's about shoe sizes across the fucking world. Why are they all different? So basically today, I was at a shop, and there was a number of shoes all hanging on a rack.
You went to Iraq for some shoes.
Yeah,
Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
It's a long way to go to buy shoes, Baz.
Yeah, the sandals are really good. So, I was looking at some shoes today, and it's a shop that has like European and worldwide labels on the main label. So it doesn't say size 10. Just that's all you need to do. Like for if you're in the UK, I wear a size 10. On the label, it says 44 to 46, and then it has H10, W11. And I'm like, oh, come on! Like, so which one is mine? So you turn over and it also says, like, it gives you two figures underneath, and I'm like, well, this is very complicated. But in this particular shop, they've put the price label over that big chart of of the conversion, so now I can't see which fucking shoes I want. So
that's handy.
Yes, and I think that was where the confusion was. But it's the same in clothes. So if you go to H&M, there's like a list of like 5 different sizes. European, UK, American, and then other things. And then some of them are numbers, but the others, and sometimes it's XL. And like, what the fuck's XL?
Yeah.
So that
could be anything.
Yeah. So international, maybe clothing size as well comes into this. It's really fucking annoying. Why can't there just be one size? Because everyone around the world is a size. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is XL in this country bigger than it or smaller than it is in somewhere else?
Why XL here isn't as big as it is in America?
Well, yeah, we don't, apart from the actual size differences, but it should still refer to the same size garment.
It definitely should. But you know what? The worst one about that, Baz, is that I was going to say that like XL in one shop might not be the same as XL in the other, but I'll go further. You buy jeans and trousers based on the waist size, and I'll be a 34 in one place and a 36 in another place.
Yeah.
Fucking inches are inches.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, the Americans are pissing themselves because we've told them that we've moved over to the Imperial, but we still buy trousers in inches.
Yeah, I'm still 5'7".
Exactly. But no, saying centimetres, Baz, sounds way bigger.
Yeah, but I can never.
I don't know what it is. I'm 6 foot, which is 183. I've just got that kind of brain that remembers it, but. It'll be I don't know, 90 centimetres or something.
Although 6 foot, when you buy something 6 foot, is 1.8 dead. Because they've now called.
Well, I'm not dead yet,
no,
so maybe I will be 1.8 when I'm dead.
They've now called 1.8 6 foot, and it's not 6 foot, which is weird.
If 180 is 6 foot, then I'm 6'1".
Well, no, it's not 6 foot.
Fuck it, no. I've decided you can have your 180. I'm 6'1" now.
Well, it's weird because you go buy a fence panel and people call it a 6 foot panel, but it's 1.8 because they've just saved material, haven't they? But still sold it 6 foot.
Bastards.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So what's your take on that?
I think sort of like I think it's a whole matter. The one that confuses me, Baz, is women's clothing in the UK. Women's sizes in the UK versus women's sizes in the States.
Yeah.
Because they're going like, oh yeah, I'm a size 4. I was like, size 4? What are you, 6 years old?
Yeah, exactly,
what the fuck's a size
so
4?
3 stone.
Yeah, but and there's size 0 in the States.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I was like, does that mean you don't exist? It's got to be above 0, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, presumably though, because I think 0 is size 6 in this country. I think that's a conversion. So if you are slighter than that, you must be -2 in some clothes.
Maybe minus size.
Yeah, well, you must be if you know.
I think that's obscene, implying that somebody's worthless. somebody that is worth literally less than nothing.
Well, I think that, so establishing that means if you're a 16 in this country, you're probably a 10 in America, right? Something like that, because it goes down. But if the simple equation was it went down by 6, so 6 is a 0, 16 would be 10. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, just sounds about right.
Sorry, Baz. I've had a pint of non-alcoholic Guinness, and that's psychosomatic. I can't even speak.
Yeah, your brain's actually still. That's the problem. It's not wearing away.
That psychosomatic thing I was saying before. I've had 1 pint of non-alcoholic beer and think I'm pissed. Unless I'm still pissed from last weekend.
Then people in America sound slimmer than they are in the rest of Europe. Then aren't they?
That's why they've done it.
Yeah, maybe so.
I reckon the system used to be the same, and then we're like, hold on a minute, we're all getting quite porky.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's just change the times. I've dropped down to a size 8. Well done. Congratulations.
So basically it's the same as the time. You're just reducing stuff and making it simple, aren't you?
Do you know what? That's quite spooky, Baz. We've both come up with one there that sounds controversial. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, an easier one would be just get the USA, Liberia, and Myanmar to convert from imperial, because they're the only 3 that are left.
I mean,
having said that, like I say, we still buy trousers in inches. So if I went in and said, if the trouser sizes were in centimeters, and they said, what waist size are you? I was like, I haven't got a fucking clue.
You do. I'm 36 times 25 mils. What's that?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to get my phone out.
Just make it all inches. I know that we want to decimalise stuff.
Oh, Baz, no, see. I know the Americans are jumping up and down, celebrating, shooting the guns in the air, celebrating that you've just said you want to go back to inches.
It is a weird subject, isn't it? Because so you and I say how fast we're going in, miles an hour, and we live miles apart from each other.
Yeah.
I very rarely use kilometres for anything, but fluids now, most of us talk in litres. I think most of us convert quite easily to litres.
Yep. Or pints.
Yeah, yes. This is the confusion though, isn't it? This is what I'm saying. It's weird, isn't it?
Oh, we've got this weird fucking hybrid system. One of the worst ones, Baz, you're on a motorway, right?
Yeah.
You're on a motorway, the sign says it's going to be 6 miles till you go off. All right, yeah?
Yeah.
And then there's a sign that counts down 300, 200, 100 metres till the junction.
But that used to be...
The fuck?
That used to be, though, didn't it? 3/10 of a mile, 2/10 and 1/10 of a mile, didn't it? Or something?
I've no idea, but why would it be tenths?
I've no idea.
No, that's only complicated. Like, and you're saying about measuring things. Like, decimalization's easy because a metre splits into 100 centimetres, which splits into 10 millimetres.
Yeah.
So you've got 1,000 millimetres to a metre, which is dead easy. You don't have to do all the fucking like old school, dividing, carry. There's a remainder 1 and stuff that you have to do in the States when they start talking about 8ths and 16ths.
Yeah, I never measure anything in feet and inches because it's too fucking complicated. There's too many bits.
Exactly. There's 12 of these bits in that bit. Is there 12 of the next bit in that? No, don't be stupid. There's 16 in that.
Yes. So decimalisation is much easier for that because you could halve 23, can't you?
Yes.
So I can't work out what the half of 2 foot 3 and 6/8 is because it's like fuck me. I've no idea what that is.
It's a stupid thing. So America and Liberia and Myanmar, stop it. But no, as I explained, we've got the weird things. It's like nobody does the height in in centimetres or metres or whatever.
Yeah.
But you mentioned before about kilometres. In Ireland, it's kilometres and kilometres per hour and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So my car, the speedo on my car is kilometres.
Yeah.
And we drove to the airport this week, and the airport is in Northern Ireland, where it's back in miles an hour.
Yes.
So I drive over the border, and all of a sudden I have no fucking concept of how fast I'm driving because it's not written on my speedometer. So
I
I've
think
no
in European
idea.
countries, you get a 60-kilometre speed limit, don't you? So when you go over there's 60 as well.
Well, over here there's 50. There's I think it's like 40, 50, 60, and then it goes up to like 120.
Yeah, that's so imagine if you drive there and go, oh, I can drive at 20 miles an hour. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. But it says after you go over the border, it says like they're in miles an hour and what have you. But it's but yeah, the point is, I know that the speed limit of the road that I need to get to the airport is 60.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what number that relates to on my speedometer,
Yes.
so I don't know if I'm speeding or I'm not. I just kind of drive roughly at the same speed as everyone else.
There you are. So I think we've basically we've pretty much done all the number stuff there, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've done enough numbers, Baz. Right. My next one, Baz, is being a doctor, surgeon, or lawyer is no better for your kids than if you're doing OnlyFans. Because I've seen a lot of judgmental people.
So I think I've seen a lot of OnlyFans.
I've done my research, Baz. I've subscribed to shitloads.
50 hours just today.
By the way, shitloads was an indication of how many. That's not the name of the OnlyFans I've subscribed to, just to be clear. No, so I've seen a lot of TikToks or a lot of YouTube shorts and stuff of people interviewing girls that are doing OnlyFans, saying, it's like, think about your kids. You should go and get a proper job. Then you'll be respected and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the girls that they're talking to are the ones that are very, very successful. So they're making a fortune.
Yeah.
They're putting a roof over the kid's head.
Yep.
They take the kid to school. They pick the kid up from school.
Yep.
And they're present throughout the day for their kids.
Yeah.
So the more respected professions of lawyer, doctor, surgeon, and all that, I bet they're not putting the kids to bed every day.
Nope.
I bet they're not there every morning.
No.
I bet they're not, I bet they'll have like nannies and childcare and all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've been in that world of having a job and putting your kid in childcare and stuff, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No.
I'm saying what the bad thing is judging somebody for doing something you disagree with, but that allows them to provide for their kid, to be present in their kid's life, and set that kid up for life in the future.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. And just because it's not okay to condemn that because it doesn't fit with your moral compass.
Yeah, well, I literally was about to say that. The whole point of this is what we're talking about here is morals. And then also, look, and we don't talk about religion, but a lot of this comes back from back in the day when a lot of these moral, the moral misgivings of being naked in public or naked images and all of that stuff was purely down to the church. Because prior to religion being the main sort of lawmaking part of the country, people were naked all the fucking time, right? So you go back to the dark, people. Nudity wasn't an issue.
Back in the day, the Romans covered themselves up, but the Romans were at orgies the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they ever built any roads.
No, it's just so they could go to the next orgy. That's what it was.
That's it. It's like, Dave's having an orgy down there. It's like, how are we going to get there? Oh, it's going to go trouble. Like,
that's why their roads are so straight as well. They weren't fucking around, just straight
exactly.
down there.
It's like, I'm not going in a wavy line because like Pythagoras taught me something about lines or something. It wasn't about that, but you know what I mean.
No, it's So I think it's a more modern phenomenon. I mean, one of the good things about like going on from cam girls into the OnlyFans part is that a lot of people are saying, well, look, it's now in the hands of the individual creators of their material, whereas it used to be in some seedy magnet gangster type hands, and So, but then I've never had an issue with porn anyway for my entire life. It's not for everyone. We always talk about this, and I think it's one of those things. It's like I never understand where the moralistic part comes from, because it's like, well, the majority of people do it on the planet or have done it at some point, and yet it's turned into some kind of weird, like something special if it's put on film. Well, actually, and I know like, going back in time, there's all sorts of issues with, people have been degraded or abused through the process, but it's changing all the time now.
Yeah,
and I think OnlyFans is the best part of it because like you're not forcing anybody. So a teenage lad can go on his phone and pick up 5 of the top porn sites and watch porn all day. He can't watch anybody on OnlyFans. You have to subscribe to that, and people do.
Yeah.
People pay monthly subscriptions to watch certain people do certain stuff, whereas all the other stuff free. So if everything was behind a paywall, there wouldn't be any of this issue about kids watching porn because they couldn't fucking instead of buying bits for computer games in Fortnite, they'd all be asking mum and dad for, can I have a $6.50 a month to watch Becky Mills, get a kebab out. So it'd be like that. Do you know what I mean?
We're going to have to get older Becky because she's going to have to give us money for that fucking advert you just done, Baz.
Well, she's the most famous one, and she's also the person that I like the most of what she's done with off that,
Yes.
and the whole story of her being broke in lockdown, and now she's buying houses and making them affordable for people who can't afford houses. Is it Rotherham? I always use Rotherham, something like that, isn't it?
I don't know.
Hull. It's in the north anyway, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes.
It's in the north. Yeah,
it's in north.
I can definitely vouch it is in north.
So on the back of that, I think I completely agree. I mean, I don't understand this issue with nipples either, which is kind of weird. You and I can put a photograph up with our nipples out, but woe betide if either our wives did that. But because
I wouldn't be happy if my wife did, but yours can go for it. I'm not going to step in
no,
at
so
all
you've just gone backwards a little bit because it's that thing of good for the goose, good for the gander, and that. But it's become a moral thing, isn't it? A lady can't show her nipples, but a man can show his. It's just one of those kind of weird things, isn't it?
And obviously, that is getting much more of a grey area these days, Baz.
Oh, mate, can I just say what I saw the other day, which cracked me up? Someone put a completely pixelated image, but apart from a nipple in the middle. There's nothing you can do about it because you can't tell who it's attached to.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
It was literally had underneath, I've freed the nipple. It's just literally a nipple.
You can't show nipples on the internet unless it's only the nipple.
Okay, yes.
There you go. You're not allowed the rest of the human being attached to it. There you go. That's the new rule.
But that whole thing is, it's, and also I think as well, it's like you say, these professions. Is it at which point is it that what's the medium between the doctor and the porn star? Is it like
I think I've seen that one, Baz.
We probably all have, but yeah. So what's the midpoint at which you are kind of like, that's a good profession because you can take your kids to school, but still have to go to work immediately afterwards, and then sometimes you can't pick them up.
It's the whole thing of like when people get judgmental and go, get a proper job.
Yeah,
I was like, that's like saying, I won't respect you unless you work your bollocks off for less than you deserve to pay back a loan you got to live in a house and buy clothes that you've only got because you have to wear them to go to the fucking job that you've got. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I won't respect you unless you get in a car you wouldn't need if you didn't have that job.
Yep.
Wear clothes you wouldn't need if you didn't have that job.
Yep.
To drive a journey that you wouldn't need to do if you didn't have that job. To earn money to pay for the 3 fucking things I've just talked about. And I refuse to respect you until you do those things.
It's my controversial is I don't get why people hate James Corden. So he's basically in America, right? We don't see much of him here anymore. And yet people still just rag on him.
He's back now.
Oh, yeah, but even so, he's not really doing anything.
Yeah,
he's
he was
not
there,
really
wasn't he?
So in America, he became one of the nighttime hosts of a chat show, right? Which is, and so he wasn't even in I hadn't seen anything of James Corden for years, nothing that he'd been in, and also I'm right in thinking that if he's in some sort of drama or comedy, it's not you don't have to watch it. You're not sort of held down and just so. And I never understand why anybody hates other people. I dislike some people when they come in the public eye and throw a lot of stuff up that I don't agree with. But I haven't seen anything that he's done for years, and everything else I know about him is through the press. And I'm kind of like, why particularly him? Did he particularly become the kind of focus of everybody else? the media, like, you know, and everyone on the internet just hated him. It was like, he's in America. He doesn't even, you know, I don't even think about James Corden, and yet he seemed to be the focus of like hate for so much stuff at one time.
Yeah. Before I respond, Baz, I need to give a shout out to Daphne J. Emery.
Okay.
Who is one of our Facebook followers. Yep. Because for some reason, my laptop has just sent an alert that she's commented on something on Facebook so loud through my ears, I'm not sure I'll be able to hear again. So, Daphne J. Emery gets a shout-out for twice almost deafening me. It's not your fault, Daphne, do you know what I mean? It's yes. My, whatever system, I don't know why. I don't know why you particularly as well, but seems my laptop likes you, so right, there you go. So yeah, James Corden. Do you know what? I think sometimes it's a bandwagon thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a bit like it's a bit like, what's he called? The guy who sang "You're Beautiful."
James Blunt.
James Blunt.
Yeah.
Everyone,
all of a
sudden,
I love him.
Everyone, every time. I think he's class.
Yes.
He's a brilliant songwriter. Yeah. His music's very good. His tongue-in-cheek humour on the internet. I
love it. That's
self-deprecating and stuff is brilliant.
Yes.
Everyone else thinks, his music's shit. Yeah. He's like the modern day. It's like the modern day Des O'Connor.
Yeah.
There's one for the younger listeners. But no, Malcolm and Wise used to take the piss out of Des O'Connor for being shit. But Des O'Connor had a very, very successful recording career and was a famous celebrity and a very wealthy man out of it. So it was... But yeah, it just seems a bit... The whole James Corden thing, I just think he's a co-writer of Gavin and Stacey, which I thought was fantastic. Yeah. I think to call it groundbreaking would be overegging it only a slight amount.
Yeah.
But I think he's very good. I think he's funny. And I know there was this whole thing of there was a restaurant who said, "Oh, you came in and you were disrespectful to my staff, and so you barred."
Yeah.
And that guy who owned that restaurant got all the publicity he was clearly after.
Yeah, exactly.
Because do you know what? Everyone's been a dick.
Yeah.
Steve Coogan's got a song, "Everyone's a bit of a cunt sometimes."
Yeah.
And it's true because he might have had a bad day, he might have lost someone close to him, or he might have been under an awful lot of stress, and somebody's caught him in 15 seconds, and he's been disrespectful. Yeah. I agree with you, Baz. I think it's all just this kind of it's cool to hate James Corden,
yeah,
because we hate people who are slightly overweight, much richer than us, have much more successful careers than us. Everybody likes hating people they're jealous of.
Yeah, no, it was just more the fact that like it was focused on him, and he hadn't. Like you get it if someone's done something. There's been a backlash against Russell Brand recently for whatever, but there's never been a past story about James Corden. It's just he's a fat twat, or we hate him, or whatever. Yeah. It's just annoying. Yeah. And, like I say, maybe if I didn't like him, but then I don't dislike anybody now. I've even warmed to Liam Gallagher over the years.
Oh, there you go. I'm sure if you're listening, Liam,
come on,
come on now. So, because Baz has warmed to you now. So
I think it's because I'm older now. I'm too old to hate.
Right. I think we could do some. We'll do a few quick fire ones, Baz, to finish off. My next one, Baz, is people should have to apply for a license to have kids.
I agree on this one.
Yeah. I just think the hoops you have to jump through and the red tape you have to do and the everything you have to do to adopt a child or foster a child who is desperately in need of somewhere to live and somewhere to stay, yet you can fire out as many of the little fuckers as you want if they're yours.
Yeah. Well,
don't understand.
Well, I've thought about this many, many times. It's like, so for you to be able to drive a car, which is something you can go to a shop and buy one and get in it and drive it home if you can drive. The very fact that you have to have a license to prove that you can drive that thing. And I know it's, it can be a dangerous object, but also having 20 kids is a dangerous thing to do as well. Do you know what I mean?
Having 3 is
yeah. But no, it's
dangerously expensive.
Yeah, and yet, like, to show that you're able to drive a car, you have to have more competency than you do to have children. And yeah, I think it should be the other way. Yeah, I agree with you. I think some people, you look at them and kind of go, if there was a grading system to allow you to become a parent, you wouldn't have any kids, but you've got 7 of them, and and they're falling out of the window because you can't fucking look after them properly, or and they all need feeding and shit like that. So yes, I've always. There was a thing, wasn't there? Sort of, kind of some dystopian future that you wouldn't be able to have children unless you had, like you're only allowed to get it if you get government approval.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want it to go that far, but there should be some minor level of competency, shouldn't there?
Someone's got to issue the license, Baz.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, would there be? Would you have to have lessons as well? Would it be like driving?
Yeah, you have to have lessons and a test.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You definitely should, because I was, having passed my driving test, I was much more confident on the road than I was when I got my first child home in their car seat, plonked them down on the living room floor in the house, and went, "What the fuck do I do now?"
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got to stop that dying, at least until I do.
Well, it's an odd thing. I don't think. Let's be clear. I don't think all men feel the same way, but I think the majority of men feel very slightly lost in sort of like child competency, because it's not a natural thing for most men. I mean, we're the providers of the soup, right? To get that thing going, but it's that sort of weird thing, isn't it?
Soup.
Yes. There's a reference someone needs to look up. It's one of those things. Yeah, I agree. The first time I was all super confident going to the hospital and picking her up and coming back in the car, and then, like you say, we got in the house, and then there's not a midwife now or a doctor. Or
nobody to help me.
What happens? Yeah, and then you kind of look at your partner and you go, well, you know what to do because you're because you have female genes, and like you're both in the same way, aren't you?
Sorry, I didn't really hear that. Daphne's done it again.
Oh, is she? What she pinged up?
I think Daphne's refound our Facebook page because I'm getting loads of. I've got loads, and I don't know why the alerts are audible or as loud as they are.
Give her a shout out again, Mike, just so she did.
Daphne J. Emery, thank you very much. 3 times.
No, so if you're listening to this on the podcast when it comes out, fill the comments with Daphne J. Emery, or we should just like tag her in like so she gets pings all the way through the episode.
Baz, that is genius. That is genius. So if anybody who is listening to this on the audio, get over to Facebook, facebook.com/mildlypod, and fill the comment section under this one with Daphne J. Emery. Tag her in it so she gets loads of alerts.
Yeah, you may have to do an at the beginning, but because she's in the group, it will come up. So yeah,
there you go. Absolutely,
that's superb.
Excellent. What a great idea that is, Baz.
Well, she's been pinging you during the episode.
Back at you, Daphne. It's very distracting, but thank you anyway for interacting with our Facebook page. Right. Next up, Baz, is the works of Shakespeare is shit, and anyone who disagrees is a pretentious twat.
Oh, that's sad. Is it? So listen, I could understand because we kind of spoke about this briefly with the El Burrito, didn't we? About Star Wars not being, the best movie ever. But I think so. See, I differ on this one because I think so many stories have been based on his writing since then, movies, books, that it's been plagiarised and slightly robbed by so many people. I think he just hit. What is it? You get prime numbers, don't you? I think he hit. And he wrote a number of prime stories that could only, and you can't sort of stray off that track too much from the stories he's written, and. I also think as well, and this is have you seen any of the sort of Shakespeare movies?
No, absolutely.
No. There's a large theory, or there's maybe the truth is that he had a group of writers and he stole works off other people and paid other people to write his stuff.
Sir Francis Bacon was one of the
yeah. There was a few other people, but apparently he paid people to write him stuff. So I think slagging him off is kind of like. Yeah, he might not have written all of his best works anyway, which is kind of weird,
Well, look at him taking all credit for it. That is the I'm going to say 14th century. I could be exposing myself there, but I'm going to say that is the 14th century equivalent of somebody typing into AI, write me a story about a girl and a boy,
Yeah.
and it's tragic.
My only defence is like I have read quite a bit of Shakespeare, not even been forced to, because I was quite fascinated by the fact that, you know, because of that same thing. Oh, Shakespeare's crap, and like, you know, when it's converted into modern day vernacular, and you've taken out the thing where you have to kind of almost like work out what he's talking about.
It's different language.
Yeah. It's like, but the stories are really simple, and you know, most of them revolve around. There's quite a lot of death in what he writes as well. People always go. People forget that he writes. There's loads of murders and loads of sort of like sketchy shit that goes on in his stuff. So, but yeah, no, it's a tough one because, like, is he famous because he was an early adopter of stuff, or is he famous because he basically got people to write his shit for him, to do his homework?
His stuff definitely was good.
Yeah.
But a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now the films are better.
Yes.
Even though I've not seen them.
But it's that same thing, isn't it? And, you know, and not to sort of go on too much about defending him, but like his work is still so known today. You know, he would have been in that group of playwrights at the time when people were going, oh yeah, no one's going to be listening to this shit in 200, 300 years time. And yet it's, you know, there must be some reason why it stood the test of time. It can't all just be kind of like, you know, like building somebody up to a point that, you know, that they didn't do the stuff.
I reckon someone else wrote better stories, but I didn't have good as marketing department.
Yeah, possibly so.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's a kind of weird one because, like, there's so much stuff, like, you know, they go on about, you know, Stratford-upon-Avon being, like, you know, the home of Shakespeare, but that's not where he did most of his work anyway, is it?
I don't know. That was his birthplace. Wasn't it?
But they kind of. But he didn't do anything there. He lived and worked in London for most of the time. So it's kind of, yeah. I think it's a bit folklore, and I think it's a good, like you say, it's a good kind of. He's become more of a symbol of plays than he has become, you know, the great writer. But yeah, so many people have stolen his stuff. It's just ridiculous. But yeah. I mean, if it came out today and he was writing that, most people couldn't understand it anyway because it's written so badly.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he's no J.K. Rowling, is he?
Yeah. Fucking hell, Baz. We're not getting on to her. This is the mildly controversial podcast. Last one I'm going to do for this week, Baz, because I need to leave some. Do you know what I mean? Can't use them all because then I'll have to think of some more.
Oh, you're good at these anyway, so.
My last one, Baz, is couples who sleep hugging each other are weird.
Yeah, I'm just straight off the top of my head. I agree because I can't do it. I'm one of these sort of people that, like, I don't know if you're the same, but like I veer from having my arms outside the covers to under the covers outside, and then both legs out, and then hugging the quilt, and then rolling over with my arse out. Because, like, I think I said, like, before in the podcast that myself and Nids have different tog quilts, so we've got two.
Yes, you've got two.
Like, she'll be underneath her quilt all the time, like wrapped up, and I'll be, you know, my little sort of paper thin quilt is too much for me. But the idea of having somebody, because I don't know if you must do it. There's a point when, like, when you're in bed, that sometimes you just have a cuddle in bed, like on a Sunday morning. I don't know why Sunday morning seems to be that thing, but the moment you do that, you lie there going, oh, this is nice.
Once a week, is it, Baz?
Yes. That's you lie there, oh, this is nice, this is nice. Fuck me, I'm getting really hot. This is uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
So imagine people sleeping like that, and I move around like. I can't think of a description of how I move in bed. I mean, I roll over.
Cat in a tumble dryer.
Yeah, that'd be. There you go. That's perfect.
That'll do.
Yes, that is the best one I've ever heard. That's me. Yeah, I'm a cat in a tumble dryer. I roll round and roll round. Imagine if someone wrapped onto you that sleeps like, you know, someone's like they're dead. They'd just be coming round with you, and you couldn't move. Right, it'd be fucking weird.
I've just, that's Daphne again.
Okay, Daphne. Ping.
I do need to say, if anyone's offended by the cat, I don't know why I said cat in a tumble dryer.
Perfect description.
It could have been a pair of socks.
Yeah.
But no, I went for cat. Yeah. So there you go. I think it's because they're quite skittish anyway.
But it's a great description.
Please, for legal reasons, don't put your cat in the tumble dryer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Not even if it's wet. Right. I think that's where we'll leave it, Baz.
Yeah.
Because I'm on my third pint of Guinness Zero now, so I need to go for a nap.
So it's weird. I was going to say, do you get more sober as the evening goes on?
No, that's the Guinness that you get more sober on, Baz, is Guinness minus 4.3. I haven't got that one. I've only got the no.
You'd be like this. Well, I'm finishing now, Baz. I'm going to bed.
Baz, do you know what, Baz? I think we've just invented something there. So you go out and you have 10 pints of Guinness, and you can drive at the end of the night if you have 10 pints of Guinness minus 4.3.
Yeah, you become a Formula
Because it
1
takes
driver.
it over and you sober up
You become
again.
a Formula 1 driver at the end.
Do you know what? You can go out on the piss, have a great night, and as long as you put the effort in to consume enough to take the alcohol away again. But as if you do, I've thought of a potential hazard with the negative alcohol thing.
Yeah.
That if you get really pissed, you pull on a night out, and you start drinking the negative stuff, and then realise it's not what you thought it was, and have to go back onto the alcohol stuff. That's a potential minefield, Baz. And on that bombshell, that's where we'll leave it for this week. Thank you, Baz, again for being here. Thank you, Daphne J. Emery, for
much love to you.
Yeah, thank you, Daphne J. Emery, for all the comments you've been putting on our Facebook whilst this has been going on, and the fact I no longer have to have my ears syringed.
So I just had another idea just based on this. So we generally record, this goes back to your time-related part, we generally record the podcast at 9 p.m. GMT or British Summertime BST. It might be an opportunity to get yourself a shout on the show to start commenting on the Facebook group whilst we're recording. Just saying. So if you do it every night between 9 and 10, you might get a shout out being your name on. We'll leave it open. That'd be grand, wouldn't it?
Baz, that is genius. So yeah, if you want to comment on our Facebook page, 9 to 10:30 UK and Ireland time, you never know. You might have an alert ping really loud in my ears, and we'll give you a shout on the podcast. So you just got to put loads of comments on the off chance that it might happen.
Well, I can set mine up so that I get them, just proper push notifications. So what we could do is just put them on and just give people shout outs if they want to message in. I mean, depends how much you want to shout out on the show, but the best way to do it is to put a comment on the Facebook, because Mike gets a notification. So yeah.
Yeah, do that. And also, Baz, it might just be easier for us to do a live one again.
Yes.
Thinking about it. Right, cheers, Baz. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Don't forget, if you haven't listened to him so far, go back and listen to you and Thomas. Absolute blinding one. So good we split it into two because I couldn't cut anything out of it. So thanks again for listening. Don't forget to share everything that we do. And buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/mildlypod.
Because all that helps with the running of the show. And
it does, yeah. And it helps me not have to pay for it every single month for the last 3 years. So do that, please. Please, God. Anyway. I genuinely feel pissed after 2.5 pints of zero alcohol Guinness. Yeah. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my character.
Yeah, maybe you just need to see a pint and that's enough for you. It's just if you've got a hangover in the morning, it's going to be incredible. I love it.
Or maybe I'm just tired, Baz. But it could be the same because they feel very similar sometimes.
Well, on your new time system, you'll have jet lag just coming back from the UK, won't you?
Absolutely. Right, mate. Thanks again, pal. We'll see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye. Wow.